Right then, hello guys, so you knew it was coming. I was going to start doing Discovery. So first of all, this is actually about my thumbnail I created for myself, featuring Little Wizard B-Boy, BB, aka Kiddo here. This is of course our brand new friend, Sugar the Cat. This is a very newer version of Freddy, which is so creepy on so many levels. And that of course is the original Foxy. Anyway, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 Fan Game episode. Woo! If you notice right here, BB here doesn't have his balloons anymore. It's very sad. He hasn't got his balloons. Aww. And the cat newly joined. Anyway, so we're going to start from the very beginning for our series. We're going to start with the opening, and then we're going to go through it step by step. So let's start with what we first see when you load up the game. And here.
Ring around the rosy.
Oh, hey, wow, day 4. I think you can do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you when I did. Hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. No. Oh, no.
So yes, we have a zombie somebody child, which of course is Ring Around the Rosies. We have the phone call that we heard from Five Nights at Freddy's. Plus, we had a horrible jump scare right at the end. But what exactly do we hear? We hear Ring Around the Rosies, a pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Now that song alone, it was sung by children. It's a nursery rhyme, and there are various different versions. That, of course, is not the version we have in the UK. That is the American version, or from the olden times. It was, many people, folklore believe that it was associated with the plague, the Black Death. But it also has a lot in common with our current story and Five Nights at Freddy's. For each different reference means something. And here it is. Ring Around the Rosies is a reference to black sores that would appear on your body as part of the plague. Now, you're probably thinking, Twinkle, what's that got to do with anything? This scene here. Don't notice it? There's strange black markings all over this one. I'm not sure what they are. It could just be a coincidence. But we know that the animatrons are falling apart. We can see that there's openings on them and everything. It could just be a coincidence. So what about the next lyric of the song? A pocket full of posies, a reference to people who carry posies around them to not smell the sickening smell of dead bodies everywhere. Now, we know for a fact people were complaining about the animatrons for a long time having, a rotten, horrible, putrid smell around them. And stuff were coming from their eyes. And they're falling apart in this one. But it could be referring to that. Because they do have that in common. They have got the smell of death around them. Now, ashes, ashes. Or else the infection would spread. Bodies couldn't be buried or else the infection was spread. Now, we don't know where the children's bodies are. And we don't know if it's because the children, haven't been buried. And maybe their soul. We know that their souls are possibly inside, the animatrons. If that's the case, maybe because pieces of the animatrons were used to repair others, maybe it's being passed on. The children are possessing the others over time. They're getting the ability to control the various other animatrons. Maybe that is what ashes is representing. The bodies couldn't be buried or else the infection would spread. Couldn't be buried. Infection would spread. We don't know if the bodies of the children were burnt. We know they never found the bodies. So there's still a lot here going down. But we all fall down signifies death. Now, that's true because as soon as that line is said, we all fall down. That's when we get killed by him. What loveliness. This is it slowed down. Notice anything weird? It says it's me up here, but there's something that's been bugging me here. Notice anything? Which Teddy of Doom is this? We all know for a fact Golden Freddy cannot stand up because Golden Freddy's never done that before. Golden Freddy only makes his face come to you. But this couldn't be Freddy, could it? It's not the same color for Freddy. And he doesn't have eyeballs. Oddly enough, though, Freddy Fazbear has got the eyes, the same coloured eyes that our Mike has. Now, I'm not really sure if we are Mike, but the guy on the phone suggests that we possibly are Mike. So if that's the case, this could well be Mike's eyes. But is this really Golden Freddy? Because we do see Golden Freddy in this one, and Golden Freddy looks like this. Not that. So these events here could actually be taking place before we start night one. This could have actually happened to somebody else beforehand. We don't know. There's still a lot. As I said, this is merely speculation. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just giving you what I found. Just in case everybody starts having to go again. Now, there is something that's been bugging me throughout Five Nights at Freddy's and Five Nights at Freddy's 2. It is Golden Freddy. People say he's a suit. Yes, he's a suit. But he's not just a suit. Golden Freddy has actually got wiring coming out of him. Regardless of how you look at it, he has got an ectoskeleton in him, but somebody's ripped parts of him out. What if Freddy Fazbear was not the original Freddy? What if the original Freddy did something and was just... Remember how they said that the killer used the suit of Golden Freddy to get the children to come into the pizzeria and everything, and we all believe that speculation. If that's the fact, they would never again use Golden Freddy as their mascot. They would change the mascot. Maybe Freddy Fazbear is actually the replacement for Golden Freddy. Because they couldn't have that bear as their mascot afterwards at all. Because no offense, I wouldn't want to go to a place where clearly this was responsible. The killer apparently used this, the Golden Freddy, to kill a child. I wouldn't want to go to the pizzeria again. I would never trust that same bear. So it would make sense why they would change it and have a brown bear instead of this bear. But this doesn't explain why this bear has no eyes. He's going to kill us. We don't know the person in the chair. We don't know who this is. We don't know if this takes place before what we're experiencing in the game or after. We don't know where this is. We don't know if it's the same person experiencing this very horrible end. But apparently this is night 4. But we don't know whose night 4 this is. But also, my theories here do also apply to Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2. It's something that I wanted to point out, and I will do when I do the proper Five Nights at Freddy's discoveries. Because I was kind of like worried about bringing this up in case, I get a lot of backlash. But it's something to point out here. What if, because we know, this Freddy here. Look at the wall. This is the same Freddy. If this is Golden Freddy, the children knew about Golden Freddy. He was a main attraction. What if it's not Brown Freddy that was the face of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria? What if it was the golden one first? And then because of the events, they had to get rid of him. Just like they had to get rid of Foxy. They had to put Foxy to the back. Because, we were all assumed that he had something to do with the bite. I mean, we got a lot of evidence to support that, but still. That aside, I'm back on track with this. What exactly is going on? Why are we being killed? So that aside, Freddy here, of course, does have Mal showing that he has got his ectoskeleton sort of in him. But he's got like black around his eyes that are really shiny, which is really strange. How is he moving? He clearly doesn't have an ectoskeleton inside his mouth at all. That's one thing we do know. So obviously this is where we're leading to believe this is Golden Freddy. The colouring matches Golden Freddy. But Golden Freddy couldn't stand up before. Golden Freddy used to slouch and be unable to move. How is this one moving? And if you notice as well, Golden Freddy does an approach from the... Like, we see no face for Golden Freddy when he appears. He does a Freddy Fazbear jump. He comes up from the bottom, up into our face. Again, he opens his mouth. And we can't see an ectoskeleton. But then again, it's really hard to see anything in his mouth. But he's like not broken up. He goes straight up into our face. And boom, we're dead. And it says, "It's me," right at the top of here. It's the one thing consistent, and "it's me" is something that's popping up often throughout this game. But that's just the opening alone. We're not really sure right now if this guy is just a suit, but it's clear that he's got the right colors to be Golden Freddy. But he does a lot of what Freddy does. Could this actually be like Golden Freddy before he became like all slouched out like this and really broken down? Could this actually be taking place before the events of night 1 and everything? Again, see, he's really shiny around his mouth by here. Like it's fresh, whatever this is. It could just be me, but that is really realistic. Even his mouth and his teeth look really realistic in this lighting. I could be wrong, but there's clearly something going on here. And this Freddy's like not all broken up. Like later on, when we do get to meet Golden Freddy is like fallen a bit, just like everybody else. Not all of them, but some of them. But this is like a much younger version. But it's clearly not Freddy. It's not the right color for him. Because we see Freddy again after. So this technically must take place before the events of as we're playing through the game. Before we start working everything. This must be events going on beforehand. Possibly. Again, I'm only saying possibly because I don't want to like have bull from everybody. Every time I say a theory, somebody's going to get mad at me. Again, I like the fact we can use this torch, but clearly nobody's approaching us. And then the guy on the phone, of course, is our wonderful phone guy. And he says about us, it's night 4, we're still here. And you can clearly hear somebody in the background. This is probably the call from Friday Nights at Freddy's, but it's got that really creepy child singing. Now, the child's giggle is the same noise you hear whenever that bloody shadow thing comes into the office later on. Of course, you guys have seen the shadow in Everybody's Out to Kill Me episode or Let's Party. It's one of those 2 episodes. And the thing literally just comes at my face trying to kill me.
Bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you.
Again, it's a child's voice we hear. Again, his eyes are very expressionate. Here, they're really like hollowed out. But his ears are clearly fine. This is this Freddy here. And if that's the case, this is a fan game, so is the events we're seeing here the ones that take place beforehand? Well then, let's take a look at more scenes from the games and the episodes I did and see if we can work out what else is going on. But that was just the opening alone. And as I said, the fact that the kids are singing this song, which was associated with the Black Death, it was associated with death. This was like, folklore. Nowadays people don't believe in this stuff. But this is what it referenced to. And if you change some things, like some parts here do match up. The fact, like, sickening scent of dead bodies everywhere. We know we've heard that. Black sores would appear on your bodies. And they were explaining in Five Nights at Freddy, weren't they, that there was strange patches appearing on the animatrons, like dark patches where, you know, stuff was rotting through. Bodies being buried who could not be buried. Well, they can't be buried. They can't find them. And the infection was spread. And they fall down and they're dead. This is all does match up with our storyline. It explains quite a lot about them. But using a song, it interprets the story a lot better. But boy, it makes it a hell of a lot creepier. Well then, that being said, let's take a look at the area now lit up better. So, to wrap this episode up, let's have a look at this one last time. This time, we will brighten up the area and we'll see everything much clearer. Okay, nothing is
Oh, hey, wow, day 4. I think you can do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you when I did. Hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm going to try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. No. Oh no.
Of course, that sound we heard in that one was the phone call we heard from the phone guy. So that was the phone call we heard in the foreground from the guy on the phone was definitely the phone call from Five Nights at Freddy's on the 4th night when the guy dies. Like right at the end where we hear them all screaming. So this takes place during Five Nights at Freddy's 1. That phone call does, at least. Wait then, what exactly is going on then? That's leaving me with more questions. That's making me very confused. Wait, is there another Freddy? Wait a minute. Is there another Freddy? A spray suit? Maybe there's another original Freddy? As I said, there's a possibility that there was another Freddy before. Because it's clear, he has a mic. He was meant to be on stage. They wouldn't have made Golden Freddy and not used him. He wasn't like a spare suit. He actually was a proper animatron. But then something happened, so they didn't use him. They put him in the back. And they used, you know, a spare suit thing. Because you can tell, look, there's like marks out of him. Why this song? Or that phone call? There's definitely the phone call mic here. So I guess that does technically, you know, give us all the more reason to believe this is Mike. But then would that mean Mike's already dead and we're just replaying through his nights? Or was he having another hallucination? Or is Mike not aware that he's done all these bad things? Who knows? Let's take a look at more things. But there's something right here that's made me curious. What on the earth is this? His jaw seems a bit too big all of a sudden. No, that's his bow, okay. That looks a bit strange. Very strange, actually. What on the earth? Well, no matter. Well then, I do hope you enjoyed this rather weird, very extensive Discovery episode 1. I actually covered a lot of things, including stuff that should have been for Five Nights at Freddy's 1 and 2. But I'm still curious as to why there's some areas on him that are shiny. They haven't put stuff in. He shouldn't be moving or walking around this one. Because if he is Golden Freddy doesn't get up and move. This means he's still empty. Sort of, partially, because I mean he has got limbs in him, but so to do with Golden Freddy. Okay then. We definitely know this is the Golden Freddy from Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And that's from Five Nights at Freddy's 2 when he's being used for spare parts to fix the new animatrons. And then of course they brought the old animatrons back and they fixed them up in the original game. In this one, we just know that they've reopened the place and they brought back some of the original gang. And the bodies are still missing. Next, we're going to take a look at the newspaper article and the very first night, where hopefully it will explain more. So, you guys stay tuned, more coming up. Bye-bye.